Hi, everybody. Thank you. So today is a topic, emotional mastery, that is one of the most powerful things that you can really do in life, is master your emotions. There's nothing in life that you ever go through that's without purpose. And in the world today, we are taught to not feel what we're feeling. We avoid our feelings sometimes, especially the negative ones specifically. The negative emotions, right? We avoid them. We don't like to feel them. Or sometimes we're taught to endure them, but still deny them. There's a purpose, and we're not getting to it yet. We're not taking the time to understand it and appreciate what's really going on, so we can allow it to bless our life. It's just, we're just enduring it. Sometimes as a defense mechanism to protect us, because we're just trying to avoid our feelings at all costs, sometimes we become prideful about it, and sometimes someone will go ahead and tell their feelings with you, and to guard yourself from even feeling that feeling, you're like, oh, you think you have it bad? You should see what I'm feeling. I have this. But we're not really taking the time to connect and see what's really going on. You have this amazing intelligence inside you. And it formed you from a sperm and egg, right? And right now it's flowing through you, from your brain, your spine, to your heart, your lungs, to every cell of your body, keeping you alive and well if it's being expressed enough. I know I have some yoga students here from Angela. Can I see how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Have you guys noticed that just from yoga, even when you go ahead and you start allowing more of that divine intelligence to flow through your body? Angela's pretty special the way she teaches it, right? Yeah. How things can start feeling better or healing. I was just talking about you.
About Vito or me? You.
So a lot of times we come in, and if it's actually the most important thing you have is that intelligence that's keeping you alive. And for most of us, we're going through life, we don't necessarily, every single one of us, you, right here, Scott, you're meant to thrive in your life. You're meant to be abundant, you're meant to grow, you're meant to prosper. And that intelligence inside you will guide you. It's love, it's a divine love, it's there to support you in every way. And yet when we pick up too much negative thoughts about it, and fear, doubt, this, whatever it is, we have emotions about our emotions, and about those, and about those. There's so many layers over the years that are built up. And we built this shell around us, especially New Yorkers. It's too tough, right? If, God forbid, you got a bad diagnosis from the doctor one day, and they said, oh, you have this disease, it's incurable, you have rheumatoid arthritis or something, right? You won't let yourself feel hopeless for too long. We go right into denial, whatever. And we go, it's okay, I'll be fine anyway, no big deal, I'll just take this, I'm fine, I don't care, or it's not important, or... Really? It's not important? But we're protecting ourselves so much from feeling these emotions. And the most amazing thing is that if we could just take time to understand what these emotions are doing, how it's molding us, think about this, who you are as a person right now, Jerry, right now, who you are as a person, is the sum total of not only all the experiences you've had in your life up until this point. It's not just the experience, it's the emotions that you felt going through those experiences. Help shape who you are today. So the point is, who you are today, if these emotions are helping to mold us, and they're dependent on your goals, your desires, what it is you want. So many times people come in and they're so self-fixated, there's so much stress and tension, different parts. And we're not here to go ahead like, an average place and go ahead and take that pressure off, and as soon as you focus on that same area of your life, it comes right back again. But what's the point of that? I mean, we want real lasting change. I want you guys to see what you're really capable of with that power that's inside you. So sometimes we come across a certain feeling and you know what it is, and you're like, oh, I'm just frustrated about this, or whatever it is, and you don't know what the message is yet. But sometimes I'll give you a reference point. The reference is always going to be love. What do you care so much about? Sometimes I'll go ahead, I'll be like, well, you wouldn't feel frustrated about this if you didn't care, right? It's like, so what do you care about? And we start to, what is it? See, because her nerves were overwhelmed. There wasn't enough of that intelligence being expressed to adapt, to find the solution to what she was doing. See, when you're feeling frustrated, the message is you got to change your approach to whoever or whatever. But the point is, when you're feeling frustrated, we don't know that. We're not listening to the emotion, listen to what your body's telling you, listen to what that intelligence is telling you. You just get stuck. And then, that means something in your life that was important to you, obviously, is not manifesting in your life the way you want it to be. Weeks go by, months go by, years, then we give up on our dreams. Deeper internal tension, another layer, shell. But let me tell you something, no matter how thick that shell is, you right now are all gooey on the inside, okay?
Yeah.
Like you know, like those chocolate things, the shell on the outside, but it's like all soft on the inside. That's, yeah, whatever it is, those like things, right? That's what you are. You're so full of life, you're so full of power, you're so full of ability and potential. You have divine intelligence inside you, that's what it is. So, the very first step, can we just take a second for everyone to just silence your cell phone a little bit or put it on vibrate, please? Thank you. You meant to thrive? Good. You meant to thrive? Are you going to?
Yes.
Ah, very good. Let's see how deep this goes. How do you know?
Has begun ascending.
That's very good. So we got past 2 layers deep, and then the 3rd layer we see growth there. And this humility, you're still learning, right? And as you, so the key here is if you have enough life that you're adapting to everything, or for those of you, you know, it's a divine intelligence inside. So if you say God's molding you or whatever it is, the point is that there's an intelligence inside you that's greater than you. That as soon as you're in faith, your nerves are overwhelmed. Are you adapting when you're overwhelmed?
No.
Right? Not one of us. When you're overwhelmed, you know that nothing's getting done. Okay? But when you're in faith, or when you're feeling empowered to some degree, when, like Mara said, is everything going to work? And it's not positive thinking. There's a difference between faith and positive thinking. You understand that? There's a difference. All you have to do, if ever you want to get yourself to have more clarity in your mind, just to connect to the level of divine love as best as you can, or parently love. Like, if I asked Jim, I need you to do me a favor, I had an emergency, I can't pick up my kindergartner from the bus stop. She's going to be dropped off 3 blocks away from my house on the main road, and there's going to be strangers there. Alright? Can you go for me, please? And he goes, I don't know, I'm busy, I'll see. Can I rely on positive thinking? Think about that. No, because, see, it's too important. It's too important. When you're healthy, you'll treat your future the same way. When your nerves are healthy, you know that your future's too important. You're important. There's no room for just positive thinking. You got to make sure. But positive thinking is the start. Your words are seeds. You start there. You say yes. And then I go, okay, let's see how deep this goes. How do you know? Why? So I can say, oh, it's going to be okay. How do I know? Oh, well, because I know Jim, and I know that if you can't make it, he's going to let me know. He knows how important this is. He's trustworthy. I have to get to that point, and if not, then I need to call someone. I'm going to call Teresa. I'm going to call my wife. I can count on her at least. No, but the point is, you see, you have to wait until you're at least in faith. Then my nerves, if I could go ahead and my wife said, oh, don't worry, I got it. I go, okay, I can relax now. You know what's the biggest cause of disease and death, of tension in your nerves blocking life? Yeah, by the way, these signals are so important. If you cut these nerves, what would happen to the organ? They would die, right? So that's how important this is. It's life and death. Okay? So the most common cause of tension in your nerves?
Stress.
No, it's not stress. Listen to this. Watch. Listen very carefully. Ready? Watch. Compare these two different feelings. I was just told to have cancer, and the doctor told me I have to do at least 5 rounds of chemo. And then, you know, they have to cut a part out, and, you know, we're going to go from there, right? There's a certain level of stress associated with that. Now, think about this. The doctor just told me he's pretty sure I have cancer. He's not sure. He's going to do a test now, and he's going to let me know in 2 weeks exactly what the results are. And think about how I'm going through those 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Which part's going to break you down a lot more?
For 2 weeks.
The 2 weeks. Is anyone here that doesn't understand that? That when you're on worry or fear of something bad, but you have uncertainty about it, that's actually more devastating than the actual bad news, than the actual stress? So uncertainty, faith is certainty that things are going to work in your favor, right? That lack of faith or uncertainty is more devastating than anything else, than even the bad news. It's the uncertainty that makes it worse. And our job, when you get a healthy nerve system is one where the things that are important to you, not just relying on positive thinking, but your nerves are adapting, you're developing a plan of action. You want to make $1 million a year, you could do it. Develop a plan. Start moving forward. Adapt. Your nerve system has to be free to adapt, to make changes. You can do it. Where's the value going to come from? You have tremendous value inside you. You have tremendous creativity. But if you're overwhelmed, are you going to adapt? Are you going to tap into that success? No way. So the very first most important thing is life. Flowing through your nerves. That's what it is. It's about your state. Getting your nerve system to a state of empowerment. And so it's so important to know what these emotions mean then. We can't go ahead. These emotions are actually action signals. The negative emotions are signals telling you that something needs to change immediately. Because if something you care about, if you knew you're right on track to get it, would you be feeling those negative emotions?
No.
No way. No way. So as soon as a negative emotion comes up, instantly, you know something needs to change in you. That's what it's telling you. Something needs to change in you. Can you shut that? Thanks. So something needs to change in you. That's where the change. Do you have power to do that? Do you have the ability to do that?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, most of us are busy trying to change everyone else around us, right? You know, I had a woman that came in. Their relationship with the spouse was just so bad. Like one of the things she said was, if I asked for anything, if it seemed like it was my idea, there's no way he's going to do it. He's going to help. Like it was like that. So, and there was other stuff. It was pretty bad. Just basically, it was one of those marriages where their relationship is dead, but because they value family, marriage, they don't believe in work. So, but it was a dead relationship. And one of the things that, when I encounter something like that, I just think about, well, is there anything, she's completely hopeless, okay? So, and when it comes to the joy that she's always wanted as a child, her future, her relationship, she's always been trying for years to try to get him to do something different and to change. And she's trying to move an immovable object. Because you're not in control of when someone else is going to change. So I asked myself, is there anything that would allow him to express the love and joy of a child again? Even if it was something small. If it doesn't, all he does is say, I think I told you to say, just watch TV all day or whatever it is. The point is, even if it was something like just watching a Yankee baseball game on TV or something, is there anything that gets him to start expressing that love, that joy, that playfulness that you married? And the thing is, if there is, see, when we're adapting, you're able to learn how to, you The emotion is something, if it's a negative emotion, something's got to change either in your perception or your procedures. Your system for how you deal with things, right? Your procedures, or your perception. How you communicate, or your behavior in this area has to change. Or your perception, your rules about it, your beliefs. Something has to shift in you. And if you shift enough in the way you're dealing with it, that you can elicit the same exact response as a Yankee baseball game, all of a sudden the relationship starts healing again. Wouldn't it? If all of a sudden he starts feeling more playfulness and love towards you and so on, and it starts to bring empowerment where it starts realizing, holy cow, if I actually start listening to my body, if I actually start listening to what that divine intelligence is telling me, then even when I feel completely disempowered with someone else in my family, I can just let God mold me more. And hold that feeling, hold that thought, that idea, that vision of where your presence in the other person's presence is actually a joy to them. And that they're expressing gratitude, that you can be a vessel of love to them enough that they feel that love. If someone's feeling loved by you enough, they will gravitate towards you if it's the right thing to do. So I'm going to go over what some of these emotions mean. And then we're going to have some time for questions, maybe even give a few examples and help someone have a deep emotional release in front of everyone if they're brave enough. You know? So let's go ahead. I took a couple of things, wrote down just to make sure I don't forget some stuff. Let's see. First of all, when you ignore an emotion, does it go away?
No.
Does it intensify?
Yes.
It builds. Ignoring emotions never works. Stop it. What? Okay? Your emotions steer our actions. You know your autonomic nerve system, this nerve system, responds faster than before you even know you're having an emotion or feeling. Think about, like if you're watching a scary movie, for example, right? And you know it's fake, so you're not feeling scared. You're dull. You're like, but sometimes it might start, but before you even felt the feeling of feeling scared or something, you're all tense already. You're like this. You're hiding. Sometimes some people might be hide behind the couch already or something before you even felt the feeling, because you're like, no, I'm fine. It's just a movie. You know? Your nerve system responds so important. So anytime you have a negative emotion, does it mean change is needed?
Yes.
Where? In yourself. You know, I was just talking to someone, right? She said I had an awesome metaphor come by the other day. And I said, you know, a lot of the times the stresses in your life are going to be like these big immovable mountains. Just like the husband that we were just talking about before, right? And the thing is, who knows who Tom Thumb is? Little guy this big? It's like we're like Tom Thumb standing in front of this huge mountain trying to push it out of the way, relying on our own intelligence, and yet you have this higher intelligence inside this tool. It's kind of like this. You know, I was on my cell phone, they have all these new technologies on, and I'm just so busy that I always focus on people and their health, the patients, the office, and technology has been progressing over the last few years, and I have my wife kind of takes charge of all this stuff. So all of a sudden there was something I wanted to do, or I wanted to Skype my brother, and I'm like, why did I do this? What do I got to do? And it's like everyone's got these things on their phones, and I didn't know how to do it, but it was something that I had the ability there, but I just didn't know how to use it. Well, you have the ability to move that mountain. You just don't know how to tap into that power inside you yet. And these emotions are your internal GPS. Please proceed to the highlighted route, right? Like that video. That's what I was telling you. Gotta change. And we keep going. No. This route has to change. I-95 should be right here. I'm going to keep driving into this tree. Right? Don't we do that? It's so easy. When you're in a disempowered state, blame, you know, something that, when you're not understanding what the emotion is telling you and feeling empowered, your nerves are overwhelmed, there's no life flowing through there. Your body's actually breaking down. It's literally getting sick. If you ever went through a divorce and it was a tough one and your body, you know your body gets sick. It breaks down. There's so much stress and pressure you're under. You're going through so much stuff. Sometimes you can't sleep. It's just bad. I had a patient come in once with such bad intestinal disease. It was Crohn's disease, And I started working with her to help get tension off the nerves. See, all you need to do is make a decision that you want enough life getting through there, enough of those signals to maintain all the organs back the way it used to be. Most of us have spines that we're neglecting them, we're not taking good care of them, right? You don't know how, and stresses and tensions are building up, it's getting tighter and tighter, there's less and less motion. There's more and more restriction. Sometimes there's so much tightness and those ligaments are getting tighter and the spinal cord is literally being choked and squeezed inside. Circulation's being affected, and that's how most people are living. And there's less and less life, and we just go, oh, well, you got to die something. When diseases start piling up, and we wonder why that one person got better but not me. How did that happen, that lucky fellow? Or it's like they got more, those signals started working properly again. Let's look at what we can do for you, right? So like this, and anyway, so we started working with her to get more of those signals there and working through whatever tools we had. And she got about 30% better and plateaued. And then, I was talking to her one day, after a few months of care, about 2-3 months of care, you start to feel deeper levels of trust, usually with your doctor, and she starts telling me about this divorce that happened. And on the very first day, I asked, is there anything big, anything stressful that happened in your life, anything that, somewhere around this time? And you know what? She said, no, nothing. Then later on, after she developed better relationships, then she tells me about this divorce she was going through and how all this happened. And then after that, that's when she started experiencing more problems. And I'm like, don't you think that's a significant stressful event? And she's like, well, I don't think it has anything to do with this. That's what happened. And it's like, you don't realize how everything's connected.
Yeah.
And those negative emotions are actually connected to the positive gifts, blessings, goals in your life. It's telling you, please proceed to how you're off track. And as long as you adapt and you keep your nervous system healthy and free and in faith, you're going to move. But most people don't understand what faith is. They say, oh yeah, faith, yeah, all that at church they talk about. You're confusing with positive thinking. Remember, positive thinking you can't rely on. Faith means you took the time to understand it enough. Seek wisdom, seek understanding, get to the bottom of things. See, what is it going to take? Then start a plan of action to move forward. Do your part. Faith without works is dead. If you really had different beliefs, wouldn't your actions be different? Okay? If you really believed that life flowing through your spine was important, you'd be taking care of it. Making sure you have enough to keep your heart healthy for how many years? 100? Or 30? You know what I mean? You'll do what it takes. You'll learn, and if you're not sure about that, it's like, oh, I didn't think I could even do something like that. Is that even an option? Then you learn more about it. That's it. You seek more understanding. You make time. That's why we're here. Today we're here to learn more about the emotions. So, I'm going to tell you what each emotion means in a second. But first, just remember that when you feel a negative emotion, your perception or procedure needs to change. And your procedure is the way you communicate or your behavior in some area. Okay? So, let's just say that I went over to kiss my spouse, right? And she kind of pulled away a little bit. Right? If I'm not in the right mental state, let me tell you something, you're never going to get the right thoughts and feelings and empowering ideas and stuff when you're in a state like that. Nothing good comes from a negative state, nothing. So as soon as you're feeling hurt or an uncomfortable emotion, uncomfortable could be boredom, impatient, uneasy, distressed, mildly embarrassed, right? So, but the point is that if you're feeling that, it means you got to change your state immediately. Remember, life is the most important thing. Your state, that energy flowing through it, and emotions, energy and motion. That's all it is. It's life. So you got to maybe and then immediately you have to clarify what you want. So first, identify your state, right? What am I feeling? I need to remind yourself that feeling is here to help you. Then you're going to identify what you want, right? Maybe I'm craving more intimacy with my wife. Then I'm going to communicate it in a better way. I'm going to communicate my day, or I'm going to do something that expresses it And then I'm going to see if I'm communicating in a way that's empowering, that's supportive enough, and helps her feel loved enough. Or makes her feel like I'm not taking time to appreciate how busy her day is and how much she's done. And when you're really committed to something, you learn how to appreciate everything really quick. And you know, you get what you want. There's always a way. Yeah, you got it, right? There's always a way. That's the whole point. The point is, if you're allowing enough love, enough divine love to be expressed through there and it's real, it can't be fake. You have to really take the time to get to know someone, connect. When you guys come in the first time as a patient, you know, do I sit there telling you what you need, or do I sit there the first visit finding out where you're at and what you're doing and what kind of options do you have? I'm wondering if they gave you any hope, or you know, even if you have any idea what's causing your problems and why things even happen in the first place. So many people are so disempowered, they have none of that information. Nothing. And they weren't even looking for it. They didn't even know you could look for it. Seek and you'll find. And the answers are usually so simple that we can't see them. You ever open the fridge and look for something, you can't find it? Guys do this all the time.
Yeah.
Honey, what the heck is that thing? She opens
Right
it.
in front of your face.
You know? That's
Sorry.
Why is that?
that never happens.
Yeah, it happens to women. Yeah,
It's a guy.
it
We
does.
put it there.
So you communicate your desire, right? And then you continue adapting until you achieve what you want. Or you're no longer uncomfortable. But without giving up on anything. That's important to you. If it's important to you, then shouldn't we find a way? We're going to find a way to make sure you get that, right? Okay, you can do it. You got the ability. You can do it. Can you do it? Of course you can. That's where it starts. It starts with your words. That's the seed. Your words are seeds. Start planting good seeds. Some seeds will bring fruit quickly. Some will take more time before the fruit comes. You know why? Because that's the way life works. First, the roots have to grow deeper. Different types of fruits, different types of depth too. And support needed. And then the shoot has to grow up. The root has to be deep enough to support the shoot. But if you keep watering it and nurturing it and supporting it, and that's by not just affirming it over and over again, but don't get caught in the positive thinking trap, but start meditating on it. Why do I know that this is true? How do I know? See, it takes humility. Pride will stop all life, all growth. But humility will keep you learning. Learning and healing is the same thing. Growing, adapting. You want to be the top CEO of a company, making Fortune 500 company, making millions of dollars a year? You have to be not super prideful. You have to be super learning, willing to learn. You're the one who's the most successful is the one who's most willing to learn. At that call table of board of trustees, the richest guy there, the one who's in charge of everything, is the one who's asking all the questions. Tell me what's going on here. Not talking all the talking, but finding out what's going on. And then everyone's full of fear, doubt, and disbelief. He's in faith. He goes, okay guys, listen, you know how our competitor's doing this? We're going to use this to our favor. Here's how we're going to do it. Because he's looking for how it's going to be a blessing. That's why he's the CEO. And if he's not doing that, well, one investor stocks there. You want to go to one where the guy's doing it, right? So, what about the emotion? Let's think about some emotions here. What about the emotion if you've been rejected to the point of being hurt? What's that? Yeah, right? So, most of the rejection from a point of hurt, it's from a sense of loss. If you're feeling hurt, it's a sense of loss. So the meaning is that an expectation wasn't met, and you have a sense of loss. There was an expectation that was not met. You want to immediately clarify. Watch, we're going to say this over and over again a few times until it gets down, because this is something you practice and practice until you master it, and then the next time a negative emotion comes, you're like, yes! I had someone who was suffering from depression from over 20 years on some strong stuff like lithium and stuff like that, and I got her to understand what emotions are. And all of a sudden, when she started to wean off the medicines, she wasn't hoping that they're not going to be there. I hope none of it's there. She recognized that she slowed down her growth and adaptability for so many years of her life, and she hasn't been able to fully express her feelings to her kids. She's taken drugs to repress it. She hasn't been able to shine her light completely, to be there fully for her family. And what happened was, as she started to wean off a little bit, the emotions came up stronger, and she went, oh, it's not working out. I said, hold on a second. I said, this is a natural process. It's okay. And we started talking about how it molds you, and that's how. And she started to get more excited because once she learned what it was, as soon as an emotion came up, what do you think she did? Keep in mind, she healed. Do you think she kept avoiding it? Or do you think she explored it and said, okay, let me identify this emotion. Let me see what's going on. This stuff I'm going to teach you right now, right? She embraced it. Are you important?
You're asking me.
I'm asking you. I already know the answer. Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
God doesn't make junk. You're extremely valuable.
Thank you.
And remember that. So she got excited about each emotion that came up. Now let me tell you something. Imagine feeling frustrated. And then imagine feeling every time that frustration comes up, you get really excited about it. Can you stay frustrated?
No.
You get it, right? Depression cured. All she just did was just a lack of awareness. She just didn't know what was going on. So it took some time, and she weaned off, and more emotions came up, and I helped support her through it. But she was so used to thinking of it as a negative thing, so it took a little reinforcement. It's called neuroplasticity. Get that parts of the brain firing that know the truth now. And now she had more life, more healing. Now she's inspired. She's starting her own company. You realize how much power you have inside you? That creativity you have inside you can do anything. So the point is that there was an expectation that was met. So immediately clarify what you care so much about. What do you care so much about? What is it that you want? And then your perception or your procedure has to change. Your perception is your rules and beliefs. Your procedure is either not communicating your real needs well enough, or your behavior is not supporting them and feeling loved enough. The way you behave or the way you communicate. There's not enough love, not enough faith, not enough of what's important, not enough patience. Love is patient, love is kind, all that stuff, right? There's not enough of it. We're too quick to want to share our opinion. The point is that everybody has everything they need inside them already. You have everything you need inside you. So it's about asking the right questions. You know what's a very important question? I wrote this on my thing today and I wrote a big star next to it. Ready? Is this an appropriate emotion for me to feel based on this situation in this time with this person or with this thing or entity or situation? That's important. So if I went over to lean over to kiss my wife and she kind of rejected or whatever, and if I'm feeling hurt or rejected or afraid, wait, where's our relationship going or something, if I'm feeling that, I have to ask myself, is that appropriate? And the only way to do that is to love her. I have to start thinking, okay, what has she done today? And then I find out all the millions of things she did and how she's completely exhausted and she feels like, and it has nothing to do with the fact that maybe, if you're not in the right state, you start thinking all the wrong things.
Yeah.
So, let's do another one. Ready? Guilt. It means you violated one of your own standards. That's what it's telling you. You violated one of your own standards. What about anger? By somebody else. Your standard was not met by somebody else. Okay? Right? Or something else. Or some company. Macy's didn't do this for me. You know what I mean? There's a certain standard. And as you grow and adapt, if you keep your nerves healthy and you adapt, you're making time, meditate on it, have a clear nerve system, complete faith, everything heals. The thing is to start off with complete faith. So start off with saying everything heals. That's what you got to start off with. Just say my whole life is, I'm going to have abundance in every area of my life. Health, wealth, love, family, relationships, whatever, you name it. How do I know? Well, because I'm going to keep adapting, I'm going to keep molding, I'm going to keep letting my strategies and behaviors change until I get there. Well, now instead of relying on your own intelligence, like Paul Thum, trying to move this mountain, you're relying on a higher intelligence. And instead of just doing it for you or moving that mountain, what he's doing is building you up. Now you're Paul Bunyan. That mountain just turned to a stepping stone. You have the power to allow changes in yourself, right? All the time. That's your superpower. You have a superpower. Yeah, you see the new Wonder Woman movie? Oh, you remind me of her. She, yeah, super. No, but you're super.
I'm super, that's fine. But
So that was a bad example.
Okay.
But what I mean is that you can accomplish anything. You can. I know it. Right? What's your name? Do you believe that? It's not the same level of faith. You know, and if there's any feelings that come up, it's just giving us a signal, a message. That's all it is. Okay. So let's go through some more of these messages. Okay. So let's say when we're frustrated, change your approach. When you feel fear, right, it means you have to prepare to avoid something negative. Okay, or to deal with it better. You're not prepared enough. If you're feeling fear, you're not prepared enough. By the way, if you have a fear of speeches, the proper thing to do in that moment is to embrace that feeling as best as you can and just move forward and give that speech. It's usually a drink before you speak. But you're going to adapt and develop better strategies, procedures, and as you practice your communication until you feel more confident that you actually are being appreciated by the group that you're speaking to. And then all of a sudden the fear goes away. Alright? So anxiety, right? Means you need a plan. You don't have a plan. So many times people come to me with different things, whether it's cancer or diabetes or heart disease or, you know, maybe they had a stroke and they haven't. I had someone recently that just had a stroke. It's been 2 years, but they haven't recovered enough. But they're anyway. The point is, we're going to help them. But they need a plan of action, something that they can believe in. So that means it has to be something simple. If you're trying to believe in something too complex, you're relying on positive thinking too much. So there's too much uncertainty or doubt. Uncertainty causes all the tension in your nerves, right? So you're going to be going like this. I hope this works. I don't even accept patients like that. I don't. Don't we make you sit for it? And we go ahead and we make sure we get to the bottom of it together. Make sure you're in faith. Make sure you understand what's going on. And if I need to, I'll make more time for you. I'll never turn anyone away who's committed to learning more about what's going on inside them. Because once you do, it's so easy to heal anything in your life. But if you're sitting there and you're not valuing that higher wisdom enough to want to seek more wisdom, to get to the bottom of it, then nobody can help. You're going to just be managing symptoms while things break down. It's crazy. Your nerves get more overwhelmed. You even spread negative seed to all your friends and family. It's so bad. I was at a barbecue, so my wife mentioned about that, looking for a house or something. We're looking for to have an under grace and perfect ways, my wife said. And this person says to her, oh, that's not going to happen. In front of everyone, spreading that. And my wife, I said, well, dude, how did you respond to that? She goes, no, you don't understand. She said it with such tone and such certainty, like I'm older than you and I know. And like, you know what I mean? You know, sometimes it's more, a person, it's not just what's being said, it's the tone, it's the vibration, right? Aren't sometimes some people more approachable than others? She didn't have, the approachability was not there. And she continued and reinforced it. She goes, there's always going to be some problems that come up, and there's this, and there's that, and this, and that. And she went ahead, and everybody was being filled with faith. No, fear, doubt, and disbelief. Everyone was getting more self-fixated. Welcome to the world you live in, okay? You're being bombarded by negativity, stress, fear, doubt, disbelief, uncertainty, skepticism, cynicism. You need to learn how to become immune. It's about you starting to believe in yourself. Well, find out more about who you are, what your feelings are telling you. And make sure that it's simple. As soon as it gets too complex, stop right there. You're wasting your time. You'll sit there going like this, okay? And you're going and be like, oh, no, I don't know. It didn't change anything. It's the only real change happens from the inside. That's it. So if you're overwhelmed, that means you need to take time to get more organized. That's what that message is telling you. Overwhelmed is similar to let's see, what's that? Overloaded, right? Reevaluate what's most important to you. Prioritize. Same thing. It's like get organized. Prioritize. Take the first one on and do something about it, right? Your number one thing, most important, is your state. Anyone who understands that today, and you want to check to see how well life is flowing to your nerves, I told Angela, anyone she works with, I was going to offer to bless you if you wanted to get checked. We have tests. I'll show you, explain to you after, but you can do that, and we'll bless you guys. But the point is, that's the number one most important thing, is how well life is flowing through your nerves. Is it getting 100%, or is there fears, doubt, disbelief, or is it just from the world picking up? Not one of us is perfect. Most of us have stuff going on, and most of us are getting sicker as we get older. Just look around you in the world. 5 out of 6 people die from cancer and heart disease. It's crazy. Just look at the number of deaths, see what they died from. The last 5 people you know passed away, and it wasn't like some random car accident or something. What did they die from? Was it cancer? Heart disease. There you go. Okay? And it's not always at the age of 50, 60, 70, or 80. Sometimes it's earlier. Okay? So, inadequacy. It means do something immediately to get better in this category. What is it? That's what it means. You got to train. So get a book. Learn. If it's a health issue, come to me. Ask me. I can save you like. Who here knows? All right. Raise your hand if you're a patient of mine. All right. The first day, the exam, the consult, the pre-exam consult, right? Was it mostly me asking the right questions to you? I was helping you meditate on something. To take 20 years of meditation and squeeze it into like 2-3 minutes, where all of a sudden it's like, oh, so it's like, so wait a second, doesn't that mean that maybe I can heal? And it's like, yeah, but we got to check and see how that's going. It's just, you know, you can speed things up. When you have someone with experience, it helps a lot. That's why, you know, even Michael Jordan has a coach, because you could go ahead and reinvent the wheel, but when you start realizing and really believing in yourself and realize how successful you can be and that you will be, you start realizing that if you wasted an extra 2 years to learn something that you could learn in 2 months, you realize how valuable you are, you realize how valuable your time is. It's like, you can't afford that. There's a part of me that wished that I didn't waste so much time before I started really training and taking it seriously. But anyway, the point is, if you're overloaded, if you feel inadequate, you got to do something immediately to get better. You have to train, learn from someone more experienced. Get a book. You know what? We have all these. I was going to date myself. I was going to say books on tape. What I mean is, it's not even on CDs anymore. What do you have? Your iPod, your iPhone, whatever it is, straight Bluetooth it to your car. So when I drive, you know, the way you take care of things is so valuable. I have this one guy, he drives from, I don't know, sometimes it takes him like 2.5 hours to get here. Okay? Actually, I have someone from Queens. You're from Queens, right? Maybe you can help her. Because she doesn't have a car and she comes, it takes 2.5 hours. She takes a train to Manhattan, and then Manhattan up to there, and then she walks 2 blocks.
And she's stressed.
What's that?
And then she's stressed.
No. Actually, well, you know, you're not a patient, but when you take the time to understand what's going on, when you're coming from a place where you're hopeless, and then all of a sudden you find hope. I have people who come from other countries even. It's just, actually, when you have hope, there's nothing more valuable than faith and hope. Remember, the uncertainty or the lack of faith is what causes the most tension, the most stress. So if you find someone to take the time with you, someone who's willing to be patient, loving, never pressure you, force you, but help you in every way, it's like, it makes it, she doesn't feel more stressed.
I know the actually getting into traffic and crazy.
Trains. So yeah, so what we do now, and we just started, but I told her, see, it's about changing your perception is one of those things. So I told her about how a lot of times when people take pressure off the brainstem and the stress, especially in the very beginning, because you haven't really, you know, you're just starting to allow shifts in your perception, but the old pathway that you've been following for the last 60 years is more reinforced, right? So as soon as you get caught off guard with stress, what's going to fire? This new pathway that feels faithful? Or if you get caught off guard, the pathway that's been reinforced for the last 50 or 60 years?
Right.
Okay, the old one. So I told her that most people, but in the beginning you have to do, you know, start working on that, repeating over time, practice at home, we do special exercise, we work as a team, right? I mean, even chiropractic has all its limitations, you can't do everything, but when you take time to understand the truth, work as a team, create a plan, you're working together, you're doing things at home, whoa, there's nothing you can't overcome. So I said, when the average person gets, you know, aligned with all the right things, 5 minutes as soon as they leave the office, sometimes they're back into all this other stuff already that caused all the stress to begin with. They can barely hold the adjustment. I said, but for you, you can take time to meditate on it. You got 2.5 hours. I said that even right away from the very beginning, you might be holding your adjustments for more than an hour, even within the first couple of weeks of care. And I said, that's pretty cool. That's a blessing. And I said, you know what? You can even use that time even in more valuable ways. Like you could get some of these things, these books on tape, whatever it is, anything that's going to help you feel more supported or trained. Where do you feel inadequate? Start seeing what you can learn more about, what you can train. You got it? So overloaded, guilt, inadequacy, all right, anxiety, overwhelmed. What about worry? It means you need more insight. You got to take time to pray and meditate. Get to the bottom of it. Meditate, okay? On what's going on. Ask the right questions. Sad. If you're feeling sad, you don't understand the value yet. When I went through the cancer, it was something that was one of the worst times of my life because it was so painful physically. And emotionally too. And it was a big strain on the family and couldn't work and lost all my finances and yeah, it was pretty bad. Okay. It's also what saved my life. See, I was on this path where, as a holistic doctor, I was doing things to help people heal naturally. And I was doing very good job. People were like, "Oh, doctor, got rid of my Crohn's disease, got rid of this, got rid of that." But it's like, 3 years later, 4 years later, 2 years later, 5 years later, something else, and we didn't really show them how and really empower them and how to keep that healing. And then I find out, so-and-so ended up with cancer, and this time they did this instead, or this time, and I wasn't really getting the kind of changes that I felt fulfilled with. And it was eating away inside, obviously. And now, see, by going through that cancer, I had a choice. I could either die, or I could make sure I allowed that intelligence to mold me enough that even when I focused on all the things I needed to do to start taking care of my family and my patients and everything, I was so full of inspiration and empowered that it was 100% life, that it was all normal signals again, that my immune system actually got rid of all the cancer. See, just going to someone to do something, that's not going to heal you. But if you have 100% life, that's God's Spirit. You already know what it's like. When your body was first formed, that was 100% life. And as you were younger, you had more vitality, more of that. Over the years, you know by the time you were 2 years old, you were probably told no about 500 times. You know what happens every time you're curious? That means you're looking to learn and grow. No, right? It kind of deadens something inside you if the parents aren't communicating well enough. Why? With my kids, I'm like, oh, so I always appreciate what they're doing and why and how they're growing, and then, it's interesting as God molded me on how to take care of the patients in the office and the people because they're all His children. I just, as I started, I became a better dad. Instead of focusing on what's wrong first, and no, I started focusing on what is it that this child cares so much about right now that's making her feel this way. And I looked at her and I go, honey, what's going on? And I started asking questions, and it's like, oh, Vicky did this to me. And I'm like, okay, hold on, whoa. Sometimes I got to pattern break them a little bit, because they're just stuck in this pattern. They're just overloaded, overwhelmed. But when I get to it, it's like, so what is it that you care so much about that you're letting it hurt you this much? Like, what is it? And then all of a sudden I got her to focus on it. I'm like, oh, I can show you how to get that without fighting. You see? It was like, and so now she's adapting and growing faster and faster and faster. I'm so excited to see how they grow up. They're being raised that way. You know what I mean? Adapting more and more, being trained to be more and more empowered. So you think that there was none of that. You think that they're not, sometimes I think that they don't hear a word I say. Because 5 minutes later, they're, you know what I mean? They're 9, 6, and 3. Okay? But then you'd be surprised because one day I see you at the park and you see her talk to one of the other kids and the kid was having a problem. And all of a sudden you see it and you're like, oh, she listened. And she was a positive influence on someone else. And I'm like, wow, my 9-year-old's already like Dr. Phil. My goodness. You know what I mean? It was amazing. Powerful. So the emotions. What about if you're angry? So a standard wasn't met, right? So you need a plan. You got to make a plan. You got to make a plan to influence others around you. Communicate that you have a standard. Sometimes you got to communicate that to someone, right? That's actually, I just communicated that to you before. We don't take all patients, right? But if you're committed, if you want to learn what's going on and be able to understand what's going on with your health because you're important and you value yourself that way, now it's easy to heal. It's easy to be, I'll take it. I don't want to take the hard ones. You'd be surprised, the hard ones are not the ones that are on like stage 4 cancer. The hard ones are the ones that refuse to learn and grow.
Yeah.
It's just as easy for God to heal cancer as it is to heal a common cold. Oh, we have so much more doubts and disbelief and limitations about what. I got the cancer to go away completely. I'm so thankful that I was healed. And they told me, by the way, I used an example earlier. I was that guy. I was told I needed to do 5 rounds of chemo and I needed to. Anyway, the point is I never did it. And it all went away. They lied to me. They told me it would never go away. Do you think you don't get lied? Do you think your doctors are perfect? Nobody's perfect except the divine inside you, okay? So it's about time you take, if you don't want to be forced into stuff, you don't want to end up being pressured into $100,000 hospital stay for 3 days, and your insurance company usually doesn't cover all of it. You end up paying $5,000 for that for those 3 days stay or whatever it is. If you don't want to be forced to go through living 30 years of your life sick, if you don't want to, then come in here. You need to be here. You need to come in and talk to me before you leave here today and learn more about what true health is. And what does it mean by getting to the root cause? At the root. And you'll say, I'm not here lecturing to anyone. I'm going to help you, guide you. I'll ask you the right questions, support you, help you see that you already know. We'll keep it simple, where it's common sense. This way you know it's the right thing. You just don't know it well enough to apply it, that's all. That's it. You deserve it. You deserve a healthy future. So if you're disappointed, right, you got to change the expectation or the goal a little bit, or else it's not going to happen. Listen to this statement: God's delays are not God's denials. You like that one?
Yeah.
God's delays are not God's denials. Pain. You got to refine your outcome, or you stay in pain, right? You got to change. Yeah, with pain, you got to change the way you're looking at things, the meaning that it has for you. Remember, everything that you're feeling is always going to be your perception of what you're experiencing, what you're focusing on. Not just what you're focusing on, your perception of it, right? And the meaning you give it. So there's going to be these rules and beliefs that you have, and where you're focusing your energy. Now, if something is bothering you, but it's just a small thing, I had someone today, right, who said, oh, but it's just a small thing. Let me ask you again, are you important?
Yes.
Of course. So even if it's a small thing that's bothering you, it's important. I'm not going to let it, if it was your kid and it was a small thing, you wouldn't go, don't bother.
Yeah.
But like, not when you're taking the time to be loved as loving as you can, you're like, no, what's
Yeah.
going on? Yeah, so there's no small thing. Because it's big to you. Obviously if it bothered you. And so then we got to take the time to get to the bottom of it because we care.
What if you decided it's not appropriate for you to feel that way based on your other question?
When
Is
you
it
ask that
appropriate
question,
for you to feel this way?
based
I'm not
on-
challenging, I'm just trying to understand.
Yeah, exactly. Well, when you ask that question, that's a meditative question, right? So you start looking at, what's the circumstances, what's the scenario, what's the situation, what does this person really mean by this? And all of a sudden you start to realize, wait a second, if you start to feel, you tell me, if you start to feel like, I don't think it's appropriate for me to feel that way, then does it bother you anymore?
No, then you let it go.
That's right.
All right.
You got it?
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. So anyway, yeah, every emotion sends us this interpreted away. Yeah. So anyway, did you see that? It was like playing the tape backwards. Let me give you a couple examples. I want to give you 10 emotions right now, really quick list, and then I'm going to help you do a deep emotional release with someone, anyone who wants to volunteer, and then we're going to call it a night. Okay? So 10, so since life expression in your nervous system, right, there's always life being expressed in your nervous system. There's always something going to be felt. Always. There's no such thing as not feeling anything. That's actually a feeling sometimes. The feeling of not feeling something is an actual feeling where it's just repressed and there's too much denial of feelings going on. And that'll make you sick, and now it's like, your GPS is trying to point in the right direction, but it keeps changing routes. It's like, so anyway, so the 10 emotions to shoot for every day, since you're going to have emotions anyway, Here's what 100% life feels like. Here's what 100% health feels like. Here's what a healthy nerve system has. Ready? Number one, love and warmth. Every day, can you get yourself to feel some love and warmth? What would you have to ask to get yourself to feel that? By the way, I'm not talking about positive thinking. I'm not telling you to think of it. I'm not saying, you know, okay, I feel loving. I'm going to feel loving today. Okay, I feel loving, I feel loving, I feel loving. That doesn't work. You have to really ask yourself, what do I have to think about? Actually, something that's real in my life today that will really make me feel loved, supported. You feel the feeling? Starts to come in? Okay, that's better. See, the pride is, you know, a statement is a lot more prideful, but a question is a lot more humble. And the thing is, you want to ask the question. Let the divine inside you give the answer. Stop relying on your own intelligence. Let the divine just do it for you. So much faster. Okay? So love and warmth. What about appreciative and grateful? Do you know that it's impossible to be appreciative and grateful if you don't remember? Like if I did something nice for you, and tomorrow you don't even remember, are you going to be feeling appreciative and grateful? Is there any way?
No.
So, no. Appreciative and grateful. Okay, ready? So, the next one, curiosity. Yes, just like that. You gotta be like that. You gotta be like a kid again. Come on. That's what it means you're gonna grow. Don't you want to, can you please shoot for curiosity a little bit? If you start to shoot for curiosity in your life, when the next time the emotion comes, the negative emotion comes, I want you to make yourself not just curious, but insatiably curious about what's going on here, what's this message, and completely know that I'm meant to be successful in my life, 100%. I'm loved that much by the creator of the universe, that's just what's going on, so therefore, there must be an important message for me here. Super important if it's really, really negative. Remember with the cancer? I had to make so many, in order to live, I had to allow so much changes in myself that it changed the way I practice. It changed the way, I'm a better doctor for my patients now. We're helping people have life changes that last the whole lifetime. We're changing communities. And you're all part of it. And you're all invited, if you're not, you're invited to be. My whole life has changed in a positive way, and I'm on track with such amazingness. And everyone has that in your future in different ways. And whenever you feel like stagnant, remember, happiness is progress. Come on, if you're not seeing progress in your life, you're going to start relying on positive thinking and call that happiness. That leads to depression. Yeah, because if you're feeling upset, there's something in your life that, you know, talk to someone who's super depressed, right? And ask them, listen, if every detail of your life started moving exactly the way you want it to go, how would that make you feel? Their brain chemistry changes instantly. That's how fast and powerful that wisdom inside you is. And all of a sudden they start to feel happy, like, oh, yeah, I wish that would be good. They're smiling all of a sudden, they're laughing. I had someone who was so depressed and so committed that the idea that she's depressed. So I said, listen, there's nothing I can do. Because if I was going to try to help her feel better instantly, she was going to go ahead and resist that, because there's a strong belief that says there's no way I can allow that because I know, and now I don't want to feel like it was just in my head or something. Anyway, so it's depressed we're talking about, right? But anyway, the point is, you got it. But anyway, the point is, so I just looked at her and I said, hey, listen, there's no way. I mean, you got some major stuff going on, right? That's some serious depression. There's no way I could just make you happy today or something like that. I mean, you've been suffering for over 20 years and you've been on this medicine. And finally she goes, okay, he understands me. That's what, see, I was waiting for that feeling of relief. It's like, yeah, that's what love is. It's not just taking time to understand someone, it's making sure that they feel understood. Oh, did something hit someone? Okay. It's not just taking the time to understand them. If you love them enough, you want to make sure they feel understood. So finally, she felt understood, like, okay, this, because I wanted her to heal that day. So there I did. It was a time. So I took the time to align with her and help her realize, yeah, that disease, yeah, of course. You know, as long as she has that. But if we got rid of it, then we'll have that anymore, right? So it's like, and then I went ahead. It's like, so can I just ask you a few questions though? I was like, were you depressed forever, or was there any time in your life that you used to be happy, like really, truly, genuinely happy, like really, like inspirationally happy? Was there ever a time? Right, do you see what happened after the guard went out and all of a sudden, and she starts thinking about it, I say, what was it? She started thinking about her kids. But it wasn't enough. There were so many layers there from so many decades of depression. And I said, but what about that? Like, what about your son? Like, what was the most, I mean, you know, everyone has kids, you know. I'm like, what? Well, you know, not everyone, but I wanted her to go deeper in her meditation. I go, but what about that was so special to you? Like, what makes like your son so special? Like, you ask enough questions like that, and if I felt like too prying, I have to back off. See, I'm paying attention to her feelings and stuff. And I go, let me tell you something, because I got kids. I started, you can't just keep like prying with information. I have to share and give too. It's give and take. It's a relationship. So I started sharing stuff with me. And then I went and I said, you see that? But anyway, if you really want help, is there any way I can find out a little bit more? I'm curious. What specifically about it? And then also we reached a deep enough level, and the heart opened up. And the joy started to flow, and this big smile came across her face, and she started talking about all the amazing things about her son, and she felt happy for the very first time in decades. Now imagine if we just conditioned the brain to start asking the right questions. If you start asking the right questions, every morning you want to start planting the right seeds, write down the questions you want to be asking yourself. Ask me for help if you want, I'll make you a good list. And you know what? Start asking yourself those same questions every day. I guarantee you in 40 days you already have a huge shift because you're reinforcing nerve pathways. So anyway, you want to feel curious, all right, every day. Excited, that's life, that's growth, right? You want to feel excited and passionate. Why do you think we talk about the mission? We're saving lives here. By the way, anyone who's, I want to ask only the people who are not patients, but look how simple this is. If the energy flowing through here, right, is decreasing more and more with time, are the organs going to live as long as they're supposed to? No. Common sense. Okay? If you want to live your full lifespan, do you think it's good to get it checked? There's ways to measure and check. And when a baby's born, even, they will check everything except to see if there's enough life flowing through that spine to every organ to maintain it. That's why sometimes when you see kids with the colic or the ear infections and stuff like that, sometimes it's so simple and easy. And you just feel them, and you take the time, and you find the spot, and you're looking for the change from the inside out. If you go to some doctor or chiropractor trying to force something from the outside in, it's not as good, right? But from the inside out, and you have the change to take place, and also you feel that release and life flowing through your spine again. And the kids, they go like that. They, you know, the little chills. They're so cute. Next thing you know, the infections stop. Their immune systems are working better. Their body's working. Life is being expressed again. So that's why it's a mission. It's about saving lives. You want to feel excitement and passionate. Find something that's passionate. There's nothing more important than saving lives when people are 90% of people get cancer and heart disease. You want? Learn more about this than if you want. If you don't feel called to do that, learn about something else that makes you passionate. But, you see? So get something, but be passionate. Determination. Remember, you're surrounded by negativity and fear, doubt, disbelief in the world. You're surrounded by it. Cynicism, skepticism, anything about divinity or God, truth, light, healing, life. All right? Sometimes even just empowerment and possibility. You're going to be bombarded by negativity and skepticism. Not when you talk about it in general, but as soon as you make it real, you're like, listen, I'm really going to. Now all of a sudden you're going to see all the negativity come. And so it takes determination to succeed. You have to be committed. Of course, you don't get there by accident in this world. Okay? So you want to be that millionaire, you want to have all the health, you want to overcome your health condition, you want to get committed. Okay? Start adapting, start learning how to handle the negativity, how to become immune. On Wednesday nights we do Helping Hands for all our volunteers that help. Can you open the door for Angela, please? She's knocking on the window. Thanks. So we are Helping Hands. We go ahead and we actually help you learn, right? Oh no, you didn't. Now, how to become immune to all the negativity and stress in the world. We do that Wednesday nights. All right? Flexibility. That's the adaptability. But the emotion I put as flexibility. You want to feel flexible every day. That if you're coming against the wall, you want to adapt. Flexible. Confidence. It's another word for faith. okay? You want to feel confident. So start affirming everything in your life. Don't let me for me to be like the devil's advocate and try to challenge you with stress and disbelief to see how deep your faith goes. Do it to yourself if you're committed to life. Go ahead, and when you go ahead in the morning and you're doing your spinal exercises that you learned, right? You got to get rid of the tension. But as soon as you go into your life, you're going to be focusing on your job, your career, your relationships, your finances, and you better not settle. Okay, I want to see you keep adapting until you get to that level of abundance. Okay, so you go ahead and you start affirming that you're right on track for that, and see if there's any tension or stress by saying it. Sometimes just by saying those words, we're so out of alignment that it causes so much. We're so uncomfortable. Sometimes you can't even say it. And if you can say it, then if you can't feel any tension in your spine, go deeper. Go ahead, just be like, how do I know this? I don't really know that. Do I really know? Start question, and next thing you know, see you're being refined. The more you're committed to allowing yourself to be refined, the less suffering you go through. If not, you're going to meet more suffering, and it's going to take longer to grow and adapt. And those challenges are just going to refine you anyway. So why not take the Band-Aid off quickly and move to abundance quickly? Really, it's just about growing as a person and learning. Because now it goes full circle. All these emotions are just helping you grow as a person. It helps you be who you are today. And think about how much we slowed down the process. How much more successful you could be than you already are. How much more abundant you could be if you've adapted, if you've been molded even more. And what if you start making the time right now that every time stress and tension builds up in your nerves, you start making the time immediately and every morning and every night to, the first thing you do in the morning when you wake up before you even get out of bed. We have people go ahead before they even get out of bed. You guys are learning how to start affirming the right things in your life. And if there's any tension in your nerves, get rid of it. You know why? Because if you're not in faith, you can't see the proper steps to get what you want. You're going to be relying on positive thinking and trying too hard, and it's going to cause more stress. Then you're going to get disappointed when it doesn't happen. Then you move. It's so easy to get tempted to go back into disbelief and faith. Lack of faith, uncertainty, I don't know, hopelessness. Because you're surrounded by it, see? So, come on, why does only like 1% of the population make most of the money? Come on, be committed, do your stuff. You got it? So, cheerful every day, feeling healthy every day, and a sense of contribution. Yeah, because you want to feel fulfilled. Success without fulfillment, right? I heard Tony Robbins say this, success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. What the heck is the point of that? Okay? We have an amazing dinner. A lot of times our patients go ahead and they're telling people about other things or teaching them about how important it is to get to the cause, the root of their problem. And sometimes they don't know how to communicate it well enough. And they go, oh, well, maybe you need to hear straight out the doctor's mouth. Maybe you need to hear that, and you can get a one-on-one with the doc and ask questions. And I do different things in the community. So we have one on July 10th. And it's right over here at an awesome restaurant, right here on Church Street.
La Boca.
Thank you. La Boca. All right, a great Italian restaurant. It's going to be awesome. I buy everybody food too, so it's pretty fun. But most importantly, you want to learn more about why it's so important to get to the root cause of an illness. If you have blood pressure issues and stuff, if there's organs that are failing to do their job, you can rely on medicine and let your organs keep failing. Take time to meditate on that one. All right? Or you can stop your organs from failing and listen to the truth. Oh, your doctor will say you're healthy even while your organs are failing, right? You could be on 12 medicines. Oh, you're good. Come on, you need the truth. You can't just positive think it, remember? Your life and your health are too important. Your life matters. Your future's important. So if you need to get more info first, or because this is mostly this is mostly a workshop on emotions and how to master those emotions, learn more what the messages are telling you, then come to that dinner and I'll get you some time one-on-one with me and you can talk to me personally about whatever you want. Anyone else, I'm going to be staying after for a few minutes. That dinner is July 10th. Jim, Teresa, anyone you want to share that knowledge with, bring them to the dinner or get them in here or whatever it is. Remember, if you're not getting to the root of your problem, okay, it's like if you have a water leak on your kitchen sink, on your floor in your kitchen, and you just keep mopping it up, and you never found out that the leak was coming from the refrigerator, but you don't know because you never got to the root of it. And you're trying all these new advanced things and advanced techniques to deal with it. You're going to end up having to pay for the whole floor. It's going to get worse. When you don't get to what do most people do when they're on a blood pressure medicine? After you're on one. Just fast forward some years. Now you're at 2. Right? What, maybe a stroke in between or something? Third one, no, well, your arteries are breaking down. Right? You have organs that control blood pressure, the arteries, the tissues, they're failing. So if you have organs that are failing, I can tell you this, if you take the time to embrace, what's the truth here? Is that true? Do I have organs that control the blood pressure, tissues in my body that aren't doing their job? See, the medicine you take doesn't, no, it just lowers the pressure for you. But what about all those organs that were failing and breaking down? Don't let them keep breaking down. Remember, you're important. Or if it's high cholesterol or diabetes or whatever, there's a reason why, and it's not just age. If you're being forced to feel hopeless about it, you just need to make more time to take a closer look, see what's going on. Save your life, save a loved one, get to the bottom of it. You have the power inside you. I love you guys. Have a good night.